Hello. Hello, everybody. The Hayvering logo is back. I'm Hayvering. I'm Hazer. I'm Hayvering. What's up? Here today to talk to you a little bit about the Smite Challenger Circuit. We've had an announcement yesterday, the 7th of April, on the format for the SCC. So let's just jump into it and see what's happening. There's been some drama around this, which is why I'm talking about it specifically. Cool. So, okay. SCC qualifiers are happening this weekend, so it's about time you knew what these teams are playing for. We'll get into that a little bit more in a bit. Here's the full rundown of our format and broadcast schedule, blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, here is the SCC format. So, 5-week phases that culminate in a LAN event, where SCC teams play against each other in SPL teams, roadmap for the schedule. So we've got regular season. So there are six teams in each region, and they'll play each other one time. In a best of 3, they'll play every other team once in a best of 3. It's going to kick off April, though that's going to be Path to Masters regular phase, April. So it starts next weekend. Okay. The regular phase starts next weekend. Just in time with the blog, huh? Relegations are May 27th, and Smite Masters is June 15th to June 25th. So we got a month off between the Masters regular phase ending and the actual tournament, which is about unfortunate. But yeah, $30,000. It's all online. 6 teams per region. That's all the same. This is all pretty much the same, but this $30,000 in pricing per region per phase is down $10,000 from last year, from what I could see from this prior blog. This one was saying math 6 phases. I have no idea how many phases there's going to be in this year's SCC format. Top 2 SCC teams will qualify, and I think this one we had top 4 qualifying, and bottom 2 will be involved in relegations. And then there's the broadcast schedule. NA going to be Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays at 5 Eastern. EU Fridays 11, Saturdays and Sundays at 9. So early ones for EU. Still, at this point, will just be, as I'm sure everybody knows, pre-recorded. But we'll see. Maybe that'll change. Okay. Let's get into what people were saying about it. Elion, this is a good Reddit post. Thanks, Weird March, for putting this together. It was useful for me to just have all these tweets in one place, so I don't have to go digging. Yeah, one thing I couldn't figure out, I have gone digging to try and find out how many phases there are this year for the SCC or the SPL. I couldn't find that information. If somebody knows, drop it in a comment. I'll maybe pin the comment or something if somebody knows the answer to that. But I don't know how much the pricing is actually going down. So they're saying 30,000 in pricing per region per phase. That's 10,000 down per phase, plus people not getting flown out. Anyway, cash flow down. Elion saying doesn't mind the top 2 from top 4 going to LAN, but cutting the cash flow is rough, down 10K. Connor, guy who was gunning for SPL this year, said only 2 teams per region going to LAN is Big L. The end times are near from Nehu. Everybody says that every time. Everybody's very, dead from Dame from New York. Dog shit says Sarpe. Last year of SCC, it seems like, says Snaddy. Really took them about 3 months to write up a blog describing the exact same terrible format as last year with less SCC teams going to LAN, although SCC teams were demolishing SPL LANs, very disappointing. Overall, huge L for the SCC scene in general. And Vonnie's happy with it. Very weird. I don't understand what Vonnie means by that, but okay. Yeah. So, yeah, that is what people are saying. People are basically complaining about 10K down per phase. I don't know if there's going to be the same number of phases either. We shall see. Was it maybe 3 phases? Yeah, you know what? It definitely wasn't 6 phases, was it? It was 3 phases, and they were counting a total of 240,000. That makes sense. So probably 3 phases again this year, right? I would imagine. So we're down, 30,000 pricing. Okay. So that's why the SCC players are unhappy. It's understandable that they're going to be a little less pleased if the pricing goes down by 10,000 per region per phase. So and 2 less teams are going to LAN than were last year. It's a pretty significant reduction in spend on the SCC by Hi-Rez. Okay, let's get into. There's one thing which I think is totally not up for discussion and is just shit. This blog coming out now after teams have played 1 week of qualification for the SCC already and are 1 day before teams actually qualify into the SCC is a joke. There is no fucking shot that anybody thinks that's acceptable. You can't be putting the format out after teams are already halfway to qualifying. That is just really bad. Really bad. Shouldn't happen. Everybody has the right to be pissed about that. The players, it's Saturday right now. The players are currently playing for qualification into the SCC, but like they played a week of qualification games without having any idea what they're going into. It could be no prizing. But you've got to get this stuff out before you do the tournaments. And then you're saying for these people who are qualifying in, it starts next week. They play for the next, I don't know if there were any weeks off there, but you're just not giving people enough time to figure things out. You know, people have lives, people have things going on. I don't think it's fair to give them the dates this late and to give them the details of the league this late. Oh, we have a cat behind us, by the way. I don't know if anybody spotted the cat. It's Fleur today, hiding in the darkness. So I can understand why players are upset about that. In terms of both reduced pricing and so having the number of teams going to LAN and the pricing going down by 10k as well sucks for the players, you have to say. And the fact that like last year we had 2 EU SCC teams actually qualify into SWC, put on a really good show. So it's disappointing. It's disappointing to see. But I think, yeah, this is the bit that the SCC players aren't going to like so much, but I'm just going to say it anyway. This kind of thing has to go both ways. I think last year was a really good year for the SCC, to be fair. People made an effort, people tried, showed up to lands, things like that. But previous years, you have to say, have not been so good. And things have kind of gone along at a level, and then now they're dropping. I think, did they even go up last year? I'm not sure. But prior to maybe last year and maybe the year before, NASCC has been dominated by ex-SPL players who didn't scrim. Majority of NASCC did not scrim at all. That's only become a thing in the recent past. Teams starting to like try and care, I guess. I don't know if it's because people want to qualify into the SPL or what, but prior to the recent past, they weren't really trying that hard, if I'm honest with you. It's cool that they were able to do it and keep it up, but it obviously just wasn't that much of a level of competition. And then NASCC teams would go to tournaments and never do anything. EUSCC, I mean, even last year, I don't think NASCC did a whole lot, did they? Did the Hounds win a couple sets? A set, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, EUSCC, bit more competitive, which is good. But there's been a lot of cases with the EU SCC where players haven't really fulfilled their obligations to go to LAN and things like that. This was particularly bad during COVID times when certain people weren't and probably still aren't. But that's another story for another day. Vaccinated and teams like teamed with these players, and then when like a non-vaccinated player couldn't travel or whatever, the others wouldn't bother traveling either, and it just didn't really put on a good show for the league. So I guess that's where you can argue that that maybe the SCC people will complain. For people from the SCC will complain a lot about a lot of things, but I think that a lot of people in the SCC don't really take it very seriously and haven't historically taken it very seriously and haven't historically done their best to represent the league in a positive light and to entertain. That's what you're there to do at the end of the day. You're getting paid. It's an entertainment product. It's there to keep... I'm really havering now. It's an entertainment product and it's there to keep fans engaged. It's not there to attract new fans or anything like that. That's not what esports is for. Okay, sure, you think it is. It's not. It's there to keep people watching and playing Smite who already watch and play Smite, right? That's the point of an esports league. And if like SCC teams are both not intending on going to the SPL, which is sort of the flagship brand, and also they're not showing up to tournaments, then they're not really doing anything for the league, and we're just pissing away $30,000 a phase or whatever, 40,000 it was before. And the other thing I'd say is that I think a lot of the time, you get this a lot with SPL players, there's a lot of naivety when it comes to how much it costs to fly people out places and to play tournaments in different places. It's really quite a lot of money. Like if you consider like the cost of flying 5 players and a coach out from Europe to Atlanta and then putting them up in a hotel for 4 days or whatever, it's how much are we talking there? You're talking probably at least $1,000 per player for the flights plus the hotel, right? Plus everything else that you organize at the studio. So it's, yeah, you're at least going to be like $6,000 per team you fly out, probably more. That's a conservative estimate. So yeah, saving $12,000 per event is pretty nice by Hi-Rez. You gotta cost save at some point, I guess. But I don't know. I'm kind of playing devil's advocate with those. I think that both cutting the pricing by 10,000 and reducing the number of teams going to LAN by 2 after a year where the SCCs had a really good performance is pretty harsh. I would like to see maybe us see some wiggle room on the number of teams that go to LAN. I'm more of a fan of teams playing to compete, and yeah, I don't. It might suck to hear this, but I don't think you're going to stop playing in the SCC because the pricing's gone down by 10k per phase. I don't think you're going to. So Hi-Rez are just going to do that. The thing that would be better is maybe having a third spot for the SCC teams to play in, and maybe you have like SCC play SCC at the start. Maybe have like EU number 3 play NA number 2, and NA number 3 play EU number 2, or some shit like that. For one of the spots, you can keep the tournament format the same, but keep an extra team involved and maybe get some more cross-region rivalry stuff going. I don't know. But yeah, short phases, only 5 sets, a lot of long breaks in there, and pricing going down, and land spots going down. It's no wonder that teams are going to complain, especially coming out of a season where particularly EU SCC has done so well. But again, to reiterate, I guess there's not that many metrics by which the SCC is like feels a good thing to pump money into. If that makes sense? Because it's hard to see, like, the viewership's pretty shit. Viewership won't really increase when you see these teams go to LAN, but what you've got to remember is this is sort of the lifeblood of the SPL as well. You don't want to just end up in a situation where bad players are continually getting SPL spots because there's no competition. Which I think we're in. I think we're in a good spot for that right now. To be honest, I think like the competitive players that are coming through are good. The tournament that was just played for SPL qualification, I thought was of a good standard, and the players playing in were good. You've got teams like the only Warriors winning the kickoff tournament. I mean, you look at that team, not the old boys, that's for sure. So we've still got talent coming through, and I hope that the SCC teams get like just a little bit more. You know, it was kind of a double a slap in the face and a slap on the arse at the same time. Just give me one, preferably the slap on the arse. Sorry. Just give them one, you know. I think what we'll see is a little bit of a wiggle back in a direction to appease the complainers. Maybe an extra team going to LAN, or maybe like a bit of extra prize money added on, or something like that. Will be what we'll see. And yeah, I mean, it's good that the SCC is still supported and still getting money and things like that. It is a difficult time to be in esports and video games in general, and tech in general, to be honest with you. So you can see where cost cuttings might have to come into place. I think a lot of people got laid off at Hi-Rez recently, as well. So yeah, just a lot of there's a lot of context, I guess, that we should take into account when we're getting mad about this stuff. But yeah, don't ask, don't get, don't complain, don't get. So hopefully there's hopefully we get maybe an extra team of land or something. We'll see. God, that was some havering. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. I'll probably get a demo review done after this. I'll have some regular YouTube content coming to you once again, and we can keep this ting going. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.